have an overview of the 6-needle machine and how it works. Works in the same way as every other sewing machine, with the bobbin thread underneath and the top thread. The only difference is that it's capable of moving from one needle to another. But the machine works on one bobbin, so that is common to the stitching on all of the needles. So when we're trying to diagnose a problem, it's important that we look at all of the needles. Then if we have the same issue on all of the needles, then we're possibly looking at a bobbin case issue. If we only have the issue on one needle or two needles, then we would look more closely at those two needles if the other four were working okay, because we could discount the fact that the bobbin case and the bobbin case area is a problem because it's common to all of the needles. It's also very, very important when trying to diagnose the problem that we use different colours of threads. If you have the same colour thread top and bottom, then you can't see the differential in the stitching. So here we've got the 3 colours on the top, and we've got the white bobbin thread indicated as the white strip down the middle in various widths. Now that various widths is due to the top tension. The bobbin case is constant, so that's telling us that the bobbin case in this case is possibly a little tight, but certainly in this case the top tension isn't tight enough. So the top tension isn't pulling that bobbin thread out in the same way as it is on the purple. So to try and diagnose the problem, we always run the 6 needles with the patterns on built into the machine, which is that one there. That runs 6 bars, 1 on each needle, right the way through, and then we can have a look at those that stitching, the bars of stitching, to help us try and get to the bottom of the problem. So if we're having looping problems underneath the fabric, it's important that we run 2 colours. That's the only way to distinguish whether the looping thread underneath the fabric is top thread or bobbin thread. If there is the same thread top and bottom, then it's much more difficult to distinguish where the problem lies. That comes back to the fact that if you test all of the needles right the way through, and the common thing is the bobbin case, if you've got the same problem all the way through, then you're looking at the bobbin case as opposed to the top tension. Bobbin case itself should be threaded as such. Pre-wound bobbins are much better. There are 2 types of pre-wound bobbins. One has got the cardboard. The other type doesn't have cardboard. The thread is very lightly glued together, and that can cause problems because the glue comes off in the bobbin case and cause problems. But we should have a nice even, gentle tension on that bobbin case when we're pulling the thread. I'm going to pop that in out of the way. We're popping it in, we're opening the clip, putting it in and letting the clip go rather than forcing it onto the end of the shaft. So we are looking at top threads, and the threading is very important. The thread is produced by thread running through the tension or around the tension wheel, but also underneath the tension clips. You've got a clip at the front and a clip at the back, and basically that's maintaining the tension. We're getting ourselves in a bit of a pickle here. I'm going to get rid of that. So we're underneath the clip at the back, around, and we're following the guide which is on the top of the machine. Now when we get to this point, when we're pulling on this thread, again we're looking for a nice even pressure, tension in the thread. And if you see, the little wheel underneath is moving around. That is spring loaded, and that gives you the tension. It also indicates to the machine whether the thread's being used. So if this is spinning, it should give you tension, and it's also telling the machine that the thread is being used. If it believes the thread's not being used, it throws up an error on the screen. So if you're not getting an error on the screen, it may be just that this isn't adjusted right, but it is still spinning. So come down through, down to the eye of the needle. Again, we need to use all of the grooves. So we're through the loop there, and then the clip on the needle clamp. We need to make sure that we're through there and through the eye of the needle. We look at the needle plate and make sure there's no dings or scratches, gouges in the plate itself, which can grab the thread. Again, needle plate is common to all of needles, so you should be looking for the same issue on all of the needles if you've got a needle plate problem. Really it comes back to the stitching. The 6 bars tells us a huge amount. 6 bars, different colours, top and bottom, will tell us a huge amount about what's going on with the machine. That is the best way to try and diagnose the problem.